Hey everyone, it's Sean here at the Brussels. Time for another horn introduction. Today I got a very special horn. It's an everyman's horn. I'm wearing the everyman's garb instead of the suit up. And it is a horn that's synonymous with beautiful ballads, having a lovely sweet tone, and also having a very dark side because she is relentless, she will not forgive you, and she demands respect. And that is the French Couesnon B flat flugelhorn. So my one is serial number in the 82,000 range. I should have looked that up before I started, but I believe it's probably a 60s, maybe early 70s horn. Couesnons are a little bit tricky in terms of finding the serial number and the date ranges, unless you've got one of the early ones, because all the records were lost. So I mean, there's still warranty cards, etc. out there, so I'm taking a guess that mine's somewhere in the 60s, early 70s. This particular one's a little bit special. When I was sold this instrument, I was told this used to be a loan instrument that sat in the Colicchio shop and was given out to players who brought their Colicchios in for repairs. So a pretty reputable source, and they knew, I believe they knew John Duda. So I bought this about 4 or 5 years ago. I'll probably never sell it. It's one of the nicest ones I've played. Probably doesn't get played enough, but I wanted to introduce it to you for a couple of reasons. One, I think these horns offer excellent value for money. You can still pick up really great examples. Now, right now, I've if I look on certain areas, I can see these like hovering as low as $600 for one of these instruments, $600 US. That's pretty uncommon, and I would really need to look at that to see if it has a couple of flaws. And you can go all the way up to about 3,000 on one of these instruments for one of the monopoles. If I was looking to buy, I would be looking at probably the 1,300 to 1,800 US range would be a fair price for a nice example that doesn't need any work. If it needs some work, obviously you're going to be knocking it down. But yes, let's say in the condition guide, like around a B, at the $1,300 to $1,800 range. If it's like a pristine example, obviously that's going to be hitting closer to the 2,000, maybe 2,500 max. But that would have to be beautiful, original case, everything. If you don't know what I'm talking about with condition guide, you need to check out the Martin database and take a look. That's on the website. You go to the website, www.thebrasscell.com, Martin database, and then when you look in there, there's a Martin condition guide. And I'm using that for myself, but kind of as a reference point for these videos as well. Very detailed guide. It gives you all the definitions of an A grade instrument, B grade instrument, C grade, or D grade. With visual pictures and all the explanations. So if you haven't seen it, please go and check it out, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. Second reason I think these are excellent instruments is because they have such a beautiful tone. They're well recorded for a lot of professionals over many years. They're still recorded today for many professionals. Three, the quality is actually pretty good. Caveat, they were never really designed to be like the premier instrument. Maybe the monopoles were meant to be the top, and then these examples were kind of like the intermediate-ish examples. They were popular because they were cheap, and they did the job. So that's the reason why this instrument became so popular, because it was accessible to many players, not unlike the Martin committees of the eras. The third reason is, I think if you can master the Queenie, because she does demand a lot of respect, his intonation quirks, you'll tell straight away on this one, I should really get a third slide trigger put on this, because the Ds are at least 10, 20 cents out. I should really get one put on, but this one plays so well, I want to be in the room when a tech does the work. I forgot my train of thought here, but yeah, the third reason was, yeah, she commands respect. If you can learn to have a beautiful sweet tone, play in tune on this one, you can play on just about any flugelhorn. So really this will be on one of my top recommendations in terms of, I'm looking for a first flugelhorn, what do I look at? I'm serious about flugel playing. This will be at the top of the list. before you go into something like, you know, one of the custom, let's say Adams, for example. That's a great brand, have fantastic flugels. So before you go into that, you might want to step in this. If you can spend the time, develop the tone, get everything working on this, you may never ever need to step up. So yeah, definitely worth a look, and play one if you can. So enough of me rambling. I'll give you a couple of quick sound samples. And hopefully I can play in tune. It's a little cold today, so. Okay. That's a terrible note to end on because it is way sharp, I can tell, and I'm also looking at my tuner right here, so I can tell that these are 20 cents sharp. That's what happens when you don't spend time on your flugel. She turns around and bites you in the butt. So I hope this just gives you a quick kind of introduction to Couesnon, gets you thinking about whether or not you should pick one of these up. You should. It's an excellent instrument. I like to talk about, playing characteristics. I also like to talk about collections for collectors. These are not rare instruments. What is rare is a really nice example of this instrument because they were used, abused, played, valves worn out, many different flaws with these instruments. If you can get a really nice one in good condition, I would be surprised if you don't make money on it in terms of a resale. Like, I'm talking strictly from a collection / investment point of view. They tick all the boxes in terms of, they're desirable, they've stood the test of time, they're definitely in demand. So as more and more of the young players learn about these, as they start going through their jazz history, etc., you're going to get the next wave of people. And I've already started, I've sold these instruments to some really young players who love them as well. So I hope that gets you thinking. I hope you enjoyed the introduction. If you want to check out some fantastic flugel players, Bobby Shu, gold standard for flugel playing. He used to play on these early in his career. Now he's obviously on the Yamaha shoe horns. Guido Basso, Canadian player, fantastic, and I believe he still plays Couesnons. Just again, gold standard for flugel playing. Check him out as well. I hope I said his name right. There's many others. The tune I was just playing was Always and Forever from the late Roy Hargrove. Again, fantastic flugel player. He played can't say the name. I think it's Benden. Swiss-made flugels for most of his career, and he was known for that soft kind of warm sound. Again, someone you should check out. It didn't play Couesnon as far as I know, but certainly made a name for himself playing flugelhorn, and somebody you want to check out for sure. So hope you enjoyed the intro. Again, it's a B flat flugel. This one's not for sale, this one's mine. If I have any, I will definitely let you know via the website. But until next time, this is it for another horn introduction with the Brass Seller. See you again.